Hello, everybody. Welcome to the BariConnected podcast. We're here today doing our December support group. It's extra special. This topic I have been looking so forward to because I have Anisa here with me, and I met her through ASMBS, the American Society for Metabolic and Bariatric Surgery. We were both at a coordinator networking event. And right away, I just knew I was going to fall in love with her because she has high energy. She is all about supporting all of you. And you guys are going to love today's topic on boundaries. Say hello if you haven't already. I see some of you already saying hello in the chat box. And what's going to happen here today is we're going to kind of do an introduction with Anissa and let her tell you a little bit about herself and what she does. We're going to let you guys tell us about yourselves. Please feel free at any point during this event, whether you're on the live event or the replay, please feel free to tell us a little bit about yourself and feel free to ask questions. We love the questions. Please keep them coming. And so we'll just get started. Anissa, I am going to do a short bio on you, but I want you to kind of also, after I finish, tell us even more because there's so much to learn. So Anissa is a Georgia licensed counselor, clinical trauma professional, and master addictions counselor. Since 1990, she has worked in emotional wellness and addiction recovery. And Anissa has worked in a variety of mental health and substance abuse settings, including inpatient treatment, psychiatric crisis stabilization, and outpatient therapy. She's a credentialed bariatric support group leader, which have a lot of experience with that. She is a success habits facilitator, bariatric life coach, and back on track trainer. And as a result of her own life choices, her passion is in helping others who struggle with life stressors, substance abuse, and sugar addiction and sensitivity. She also had a successful gastric bypass surgery back in 2002. So she has tons of experience in this field, guys, and has also dealt with weight reoccurrence over the years. She genuinely connects with from a place of acceptance and empathy. And I can tell you that just by having lots of conversation with her. And she definitely does not have any kind of judgment. So feel free to be yourselves. She also has a website, which we'll be showing you here later, and how you can connect with her further on. So at this, I'm just going to turn the seat over to you and let you kind of tell us even more about
Oh
yourselves.
my.
And also why
Thank
you
you.
decided to be in this field and join us
Right.
today, basically.
Oh my gosh, Brenda, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I got up really fast because I thought, I do not have a before and after picture in my in my in my deck. I took it out because I was doing something differently, presenting for a different community, and there was no need to have my before picture. So this is my before picture. I think sometimes people like to see before and after. So I was 32 years old. When I had gastric bypass surgery. That was actually 22 years ago. Let me say thank you. Thank you for this opportunity. I am overwhelmed with gratitude for the ability to share my experience, strength, and hope, if you will, with everyone. So just listening to all of that, I'm like, wow, okay, I've done a little bit in my life, just a little. But again, it's the opportunities that I have now in front of me that really keep me excited for what I do. I had bariatric surgery 22 years ago. I was actually a certified addiction counselor and working in the field of addiction and recovery since 1990. So I'd been a counselor for years. I'd shown up for everybody else, and I was learning how to start taking care of me differently. And my health, for the most part, was really what was at, I guess, my main priority. I got married in 2001. and I met the love of my life at 300 pounds. I asked him out. We dated, and a year later we were married. And honestly, surgery became an option because I just wanted to spend as much time with him as I possibly could. And I
Sounds
really
like he
wanted
was
to,
accepting
he,
of your
you
of
know,
where you
he,
were even
he never,
before.
and he never saw the weight. He saw me. And I believe that, he's my soulmate, he's my best friend. But ultimately we connected on such a level that I had never experienced before. And I just wanted to live. Honestly, I just wanted to live. I was tired of existing. And what was interesting is we took I've got my bonus boys. I've got 3 bonus boys, his sons, and we had taken them to Atlanta. I'm from Savannah, and originally from Connecticut, but have lived in Savannah since a teenager. And we took the boys to Atlanta when I had surgery. And as we waited in line 45 minutes to get on a roller coaster, by the time we got to the roller coaster, I could not fit in it. And I had not been to, a park like that in so many years. I didn't even have any idea that I couldn't fit. And I thought, I have dealt with this all of my life. I definitely do not want these boys to experience this with me. And that was 3 days before I had surgery. And ultimately that was it. I really just wanted to live. I wanted to live and not exist. So surgery happened in 2002, and I was again working in the field of addiction and recovery. I started specializing, if you will, just looking into sugar and understanding how sugar affected the brain. And really what prompted that was when I was in grad school working with alcoholism and drug addiction. A lot of the people in recovery, when they got sober, they would gain 20 pounds, 25 pounds, 30 pounds. And they had this transfer, from alcohol or substances to sugar, into food. And we saw how they started taking care of themselves differently. And when I started learning about sugar in the brain system, I did not learn anything new. I was learning the same information that I had learned with alcohol and cocaine and marijuana and pills. And now I had this new substance, and it was sugar. And I was not sugar person. I wasn't a soda or a sweets person, a ice cream person. I was more of the pasta, bread, potatoes. I'm Italian, so that's kind of that was where I went. That was my, if you will, drug of choice or my food of choice. And it really changed the way my relationship with pasta, my relationship with food started to change. And that's again when I stopped dieting and really started looking at this as a lifestyle. So um, since I had surgery, I've worked with a bariatric program in Savannah for many years, since inception in '04, and have worked on the peripheral, offering pre-op and post-op counseling, a lot of psychological evaluations as well. And now just over the years, staying connected, I have run my surgeon who passed away many years ago. He had a satellite support group in Savannah. And since '02, I've run that support group. And I know for me in recovery, connection is everything. And showing up, someone was there for me, and paying it forward is what it's all about, especially in our community. Because what I've learned is there is shame that goes along with obesity in ways that it does not go along with other medical conditions. So shame can eat at our soul, and helping people make peace with themselves and really live their best lives and understand that we are so much more than a number on the scale, that we have more to offer. So yeah, that's kind of where I am and what I'm doing. I will share with you this. We are currently out in Arizona. Back in 2020, when the world changed, my practice, I've been in private practice now 18 years, and my practice went virtual. My husband and I both got sick in 2022 with COVID after being healthy for a couple of years. And we have both developed long haul COVID symptoms, and I suffer with asthma. So having patients come into my office and being sensitive to smells and different things like that really made it difficult to start seeing people. So we sold everything and bought an RV, and we've been traveling the country now. So it's been exciting to be in different places, but also really to be able to connect with people across the country. We were at a state park in Colorado, and the park assistant park manager had bariatric surgery while I was there. And I was like, we need to sit and talk. Let's talk to me about what got you to this point and let me know all about it. And I mean, it's just exciting. It's exciting to, to hear stories and what people struggle with. And boundaries is a biggie. I know that we've talked about, what kind of topics would you guys want to hear? And this was a biggie. And personally, it has really been a journey for me, not just through surgery, but in stepping into who I am and setting those boundaries with individuals who expect me to be a certain way, and I'm changing. I'm learning to take care of me differently, emotionally, mentally, and physically, spiritually, financially, all of it. I think it's all wrapped into one. And as you and I talked right before that, it has so much more to do with life and not just about weight loss and surgery itself. So yeah. You ready to jump into this?
So cool.
I know.
Yes, I am. And I want to say too, it looks like
Yeah,
we have all kinds of wonderful
I
people. I just
know
want to say
it.
hello to all of them.
Hi, guys.
We have Sarah from Florida. We have Lovey from South Carolina. We have Ann from Seattle. Sarah from Illinois. We have Laura. Gosh, I'm just trying to go through some of them here. Mary from Connecticut.
Oh, Mary, I'm
Um,
from Connecticut. Mary.
oh,
Love it.
she said for almost 35 years. And then we have Maria
South Carolina.
from, seeing where it doesn't say. We have part of the name is cut off. I think it's Melanie. She's joining. We have Janie, just all kinds of people. And I have a couple from MN. I guess that's some bad
Minnesota.
abbreviation. Minnesota, I bet.
Minnesota.
Um, oh, Melanie from Georgia, Amy
Yeah,
from
Georgia.
Montana,
Yay.
Cataby. That's such a different, unique name. I love it.
Yeah,
Um,
that is different. Yeah,
but yeah, let's jump in. And guys, keep the comments coming. We love them.
please
We want to
do.
know all about you. And at any
Yeah.
point in this, if I see something, because I know it's sometimes
Questions
hard when
for
you're showing
sure.
the
Yeah.
presentation. I'll
Yeah. Definitely. Yes. If there are any questions or anything at any time, please feel free. You see that good? Okay. Yeah.
Yes,
Brenda.
I can
Yes.
see it.
Okay.
Good.
Okay. Okay.
Yes.
Good. Woo. Okay. As I was telling Brenda before, there are a few things I missed. I was updating my deck beforehand, and I said those are the things to do, not to do. Again, just keeping myself busy before it was time. But setting boundaries and new self-care map. Again, I'm Anisa Grantham. I am a licensed professional counselor and a master addiction counselor. Um, let me see what I can do. All right. So I really wanted to talk about, boundaries and again, understanding what's the purpose? Why do we need boundaries? Why do we need to start taking care of ourselves differently? And how do boundaries fit into this? And it's really about the empowering ourselves along this bariatric journey. And what are they? Boundaries are personal limits. Honestly, they protect our well-being. I believe that boundaries are not about punishment. They're about protection. They're about direction, if anything. They define how we allow others to treat us and how we treat ourselves, most importantly. Boundaries define us. They define what is me and what is not me. And that is a quote from Dr. Henry Cloud. One of my most favorite boundaries book is by Dr. Henry Cloud and Dr. Townsend. Um, and again, just I've been in this field for a very long time. And even in recovery, addiction and recovery, we talk about setting boundaries and learning how to protect our well-being, our emotional health and our physical health. I think when we're talking about, boundaries with bariatrics, especially, it's new for us, right? So physical boundaries, social boundaries, kind of how we navigate our way through this new world that we're in. And we're asking sometimes our loved ones and our friends to come along with us. Yes, they're in this with us. Some stick around, some do not. Right? How many of you have struggled maybe with people not liking this new you and not liking this you standing up for yourself? Is that's, when I think of what are you guys dealing with, right? And how's the need for boundaries showing up for you? That's what I think of. Because it might not have been something you even thought of when you started this process. There are different types of boundaries here. I'm talking about physical boundaries, learning how to protect our body's needs and our limits. So again, just learning what our portion control looks like. Learning what I think of too is how to take time for eating. A lot of times working with patients, I will hear and my clients will say, I don't have time. My position at work doesn't allow me to take a 30-minute lunch. Really? Well, today's a new day, so we're going to need to take some time because what happens, some of you might know this, right? What happens when we eat too fast? What happens when we don't chew our food enough? There are things that happen to us because of surgery. If I eat too fast or I don't take time to chew my food, I'm going to be sick. And then honestly, I'm not any good to anybody else. So learning how to navigate this again, this need for I'm going to take 30 minutes for my lunch. Thank you. I have a right to that. I have a right to take lunch. A lot of times talking with, moms or dads or, engineers or police officers or teachers or nurses. I don't have time. I don't have time. And sometimes I just kind of sit back and I think, you know what? I've been there. I get you. I'm a counselor. Everybody else's needs always came before mine. I don't have time to take a lunch. And what I learned through my own therapy and through my own, recovery is if I don't take care of me differently, then honestly, I'm not going to be present for you. And the truth is, I hadn't been. I had to learn that when we start taking care of ourselves differently, um, I had to learn that it was okay for me to take myself from the bottom of the list and put me at the top of the list. And I thought, how is that going to affect me as a counselor? How is that going to affect me? Am I going to be able to do that? I'm supposed to be selfless. And I had a therapist look at me and say very simply, what does it mean? She asked me, Nissa, what does it mean to you? If you take you from the bottom of the list and you put you at the top, what does that mean to you? And I told her, I said, that's selfish. In my world growing up, if you were at the top of the list, you were selfish. And then I sat back and I really had to think about it. Selfish people are the only ones who benefit from their behavior. Selfish people are the only ones who benefit from their behavior. And for me to put me at the top of my list wasn't about me being selfish. I didn't want to just be the only one benefiting from my behavior. I wanted everyone in my life to benefit. And that's the difference between selfishness and self-care. I wanted to be able to show up for me the way that I was showing up for everybody else. So learning these types of boundaries and something as simple as sitting down and taking 20 minutes to eat and learning what those physical boundaries look like. Now we're going to jump into the hard ones because let me tell you, physical boundaries are easy. My stomach's going to tell me when I've had enough to eat. Emotional boundaries, managing stress, emotional triggers, body image. Do you have people who will be glad to tell you what they think about your body? Or, oh, you look sick. I think you need to stop losing weight now. When are you going to be done? And they'll be glad to tell you about yourself and your body. Like it's nothing. Like it's their business, you know? And again, did they walk around and say, I think you're too big now? No. But darn if they don't feel the need to tell me if I'm too small or I'm looking sickly, you know? Have you guys experienced this? Again, just please feel free to jump on in there. I actually had someone tell me when I said, no, I'm not able to do that. I had someone say, I liked you better when you were fat. Looked right at me and said it. And I thought, ha, of course, I was a doormat. I was a doormat. I would drop everything I had going on to make sure everybody else's needs were okay. So paying attention, really paying attention. If you haven't had surgery yet, this might be raising your awareness as to, there's more to it than just weight loss. There's more to it than just measuring out my food and meal prepping. Social boundaries, handling social events. Oh, hello, family dynamics and societal pressures around food, because food is our wonderful glue, right? It brings us all together. We are social with food. We are loving with food. We grieve with food. We celebrate with food. And what do we have going on now? Holidays and food and gatherings and parties. And oh my gosh, talk about a need for setting boundaries, right? Why boundaries matter in bariatric recovery. Again, they provide direction. They improve our emotional well-being. When we start taking care of ourselves better, we're going to feel better about ourselves. And again, that I matter. I matter. My health matters. My well-being matters. Boundaries support healthy eating habits and again, a different or a better kind of relationship with food. When we're able to, sit down with our food, it is our time to eat and that this is a priority. That's a boundary. When I'm taking time to eat, when I'm taking time to meal prep, when I'm taking time to exercise or to go for a walk or move my body. Boundaries strengthen our self-respect and our decision-making skills. Again, navigating, right? Navigating our way through this. And, right now is a time for me to say no. Now is a good time for me to say, no, I'm not able to do that. But when we've been yes people, how many of you have been yes people? How many of you, right? Right, Brenda? Right. And how many of us have, again, this unrealistic expectation that all of a sudden surgery is just going to poof, fix things in our lives. And
There's quite
sometimes
a few comments, Anissa.
yes. Okay,
Is it okay if I say
please.
some of them? It
Please.
looks like Megan says, I don't get why people feel like they have permission to comment on people's bodies when they are either pregnant or have bariatric
Mm,
surgery. Any other
right,
time, it would be considered rude. I also have a
right.
comment about
Love
Mary
that.
saying, she said, yes, I had someone try and hand me a plate of food during my liquid diet 2 weeks before surgery.
Mm, mm.
Jennifer, I know. Jennifer says, definitely hate getting the comments about my size. When are you going to stop losing weight? You're
Yes,
getting too small. Is that all you're going to eat? So, yes, definitely hear that.
yes,
Sarah says, I was uncomfortable when I was losing weight as I got different attention, which is true
yes.
too. Um,
Sarah,
Somebody
yeah,
says, I'm a yes person.
yep.
I hate it. Hard to say no. Someone else
Mm,
says, Jennifer
mm-hmm,
says, people pleaser, kind of a hand
mm,
up. Janie said, I'm a yes person, always others before me. And then Mary says, I love the attention because I've had issues with my weight for so long, and I had the up and down in 1999, was over 500 pounds in 2007, and was 167 pounds. And when I had my son, I was 323 leaving the hospital because I didn't realize I had other health issues. So I think weight being up and
Yes.
down, but,
Yeah.
um, you know,
Yeah.
I think a lot of people understand these
Definitely.
struggles. Yeah.
Definitely. And again, it's, stepping into our own voice that, and what does it sound like? And what does that look like when we start to set boundaries for ourselves and learning that we don't have to be rude and we don't have to, be nasty and aggressive with it. And I actually do have some examples, just as we move forward through the deck, but it's understanding and really recognizing what is it that I'm reacting to? What is uncomfortable about what's being said? And what is not okay? What's not okay? I get to say what's not okay. I have a right to say, you know what? That's not okay anymore. And one of my favorite lines, honestly, has been today's a new day. Hello. Today's a new day. I know that I haven't said anything before today, but today's a new day. And we're gonna address this differently right now. And again, it's just learning and practicing. What does that sound like? How do I want to say it? And I'm a big proponent for journal writing. Again, being in recovery for years, I've learned how to write things out for me, learning how to have a conversation with myself and have a conversation with others, get it out of my head and on paper, and learning how to express my emotion and express my thoughts and feelings. If anything, it's really learning what those feelings are. And sometimes we have avoided those uncomfortable feelings. We don't want to say no, we don't want the confrontation, so we just avoid, we say yes, we overload ourselves, and then poof, then we're running around like a chicken with our head cut off, trying to make sure everybody else's needs are met.
And
Setting
Anissa,
bound,
that kind of
yes,
brings up it brings
please.
up a great thing to think about and consider here too, because has anybody else ever had this happen? You have something where you're that yes person and you just keep agreeing to whatever's going on, and you're trying to be the peacemaker. How many of you
Oh,
guys are peacemakers?
right,
So you
right.
don't say anything. And then what happens is inside you, those feelings keep building up and building
Mhm,
up and building
mhm.
up. And even though you may be a pacifist, you may be a peacemaker, you may be whatever, all at once, the littlest thing can make you snap. And I mean, it's just
Snap.
like that.
Mhm.
And then your anger goes up, and then you handle things much differently than if you would have done it in the beginning in a more
Sure.
peaceful way, in a more
Yes.
organized way, and where you organized your thoughts, you thought about what you're going to say. But at that moment, if you don't do anything and you just keep being that yes person, it's at some point it's going to happen. There's a release. And
Yes.
so it's like whether you choose for it to be more appropriated, more,
Mhm.
how would you say it? And so be the way you want it to go, like, more
Right.
smoothly and
Yes. The thing is when we keep piling it up and we're not paying attention to what's coming up for us, it will come out sideways. And then we are spewing our anger or resentment over everyone. And it's not about them. It really is about us. It really is, okay, what is it about me? What is this people pleasing here to teach me? Where did it come from? How long? How long have I been people pleasing? Where does this go back to? Who does this go back to? And one of the things that I've learned over the years, and I'm definitely not the counselor who blames our parents or our families for, where we are in our lives, but it is understanding that we learn how to survive in our family system. So if we learned that, we don't rock the boat. I'm a people pleaser. I don't want to rock the boat. I don't like confrontation. I'll go along to get along. And I will be your yes person as because it hmm, there's control in that. There is control. I can navigate my way through a situation like that because I'm doing everything. And then everyone is calm and I'm the one who's crazy, right? I'm the one who's acting all off the chain. And the idea though is that I know how to deal with that. I know how, and if food has been used to soothe us, see, this is where we get into that. What is your relationship with food? If food has been used to soothe us unknowingly, because I don't believe we're conscious of this, it's the stuff, this is the stuff, guys, that flies under the radar. And I don't want it catching you off guard 6 months after surgery or 3 months after surgery. So please listen. And you probably have already experienced this. But if we can no longer eat at it and we're still saying yes and we're still trying to manage everybody, then and then it gets to that point that it's too much and I can't eat at you or I can't eat at the situation anymore. I'm going to have to sit with the feeling. I'm going to have to sit with, you know what? I'm afraid, Brenda, I'm afraid to tell you no, because if I tell you no, you will not love me. You will reject me. And you know what? I don't care anymore if you do or don't. I'm done. And sometimes that's the way it ends up coming out. It's like we get to that point that I don't care. But that's not true. The truth is we do care. We just don't know how to navigate the situation. Brenda, I'm afraid to tell you no because I'm afraid you'll withhold your love. I'm afraid you will not like me, or not love me, or not approve of me. So I do for you because as long as I do for you, I have purpose in your life. And again, guys, I don't know if it's making sense or not because I can't see anybody, but Brenda nod. So, it's this idea of, if you can relate to this, we really need to start looking at, okay, what is it that people pleasing is doing for you? What is it that, again, saying yes to people is about you? It's not about them. It's about you. So when I talk about, setting boundaries is essential after surgery for protecting your progress, maintaining your health, and fostering supportive relationships, this is about you. Boundaries and learning how to set those boundaries and learning how to take care of yourself differently. This is sitting with you and saying, okay, what am I afraid of? What scares me about setting a boundary? Because if I say no to you, or if I say I'm not able to do that, what is it that I'm afraid I'm going to hear?
So, Anissa, what would you say would be step one? Step
Hmm.
one, become aware of
Become
why.
aware. Yes, become aware of what? What is it that I'm reacting to? What am I afraid of? What does a boundary represent here in this situation? What does the boundary represent? If I'm afraid to say no, what is it about saying no? What is it about your reaction to my no that scares me? And sometimes, again, this comes back to our relationship with food. Some of us, I won't make a blanket statement, but some of us trust food more than we trust people. Some of us trust food more than we trust people. People will let us down. People will, reject us. People will withdraw from us. People will withhold love from us. People will hurt us. Food, food has been there. It's been our friend. Woo! It's going to make me feel better until it doesn't. So it's really looking at, what is it that scares me about telling you no? What is it that scares me about saying I'm not able to do that? What is it? And then I think about work, work relationships and work boundaries, getting emails after hours or on the weekends, having to look at my supervisor when I worked at the hospital and say, I just need to know, is your expectation for me to answer this? What is your expectation of this email after hours? What is your expectation of me answering that email? Like, I want to know, so I have some direction here. See, boundaries are about direction. So I ask questions because I need clarification. I'm not questioning you. I need clarification so that I better am able to handle me and know what's best for me. So I would say that, yes, questioning what is the boundary about? What scares me about setting that boundary? What does that look like? Okay.
So
What
once you
scares,
become
okay.
aware, is it about
Mm,
slowing down your immediate response to be
yes.
able to process it?
Yes. And definitely being able to say, I'm going to need to take a moment for that. Or being able to step back. We don't have to respond right away. You know, most often we find it difficult to sit still. So being able to ask, ask ourselves and then sit with it, really sit with it. And again, journal about that, you know, ask ourselves some questions.
What does journaling do? Would you say clarity?
Definitely provides clarity. I think again offers a release. It really does offer a release. I'm able to I'm able to write out things that are inside that I don't necessarily have to say to other people, because I've learned over the years it's really not about them, it's about me. It's about the story or the narrative that I'm telling myself. So it helps me to get it out, to see what it is that I'm really thinking or feeling. And
So once
I
you're a
chat. There are
yeah.
times I will also challenge my clients with, write in your non-dominant hand when we're talking about, what feelings are coming up about something. Write in your non-dominant hand, and that helps to sometimes even get at some of that emotion.
So the biggest thing that people are looking for with this, with boundaries, is to
Mhm.
have some sort of peace. With
Yeah.
having a little bit of peace, of
Mhm. Mhm.
feeling better about setting the boundary. And
Yes.
so once you assess where you are, you get more clarity. So I feel like the journaling part is a way to bring down that emotional state to a level
Yes.
that feels more balanced
Right.
and
Without,
be able to
definitely. Yeah, without, and sometimes even, role playing or just practicing saying some of those words out loud. It doesn't have to be with other people. Again, sometimes just sitting in our car or walking or talking, and just being able to start giving our feelings a voice, giving our thoughts about these situations a voice. Again, I really haven't liked the way that they talk to me, or that their expectation is that I'm just going to do it. They don't even ask, they just expect me to do it. Hey, we've got you coming on Sunday and you're going to be bringing macaroni and cheese. Well, good for you. I don't make macaroni and cheese anymore. You guys are going to be having cauliflower, mashed cauliflower or whatever. This ain't your mama's mac and cheese. But it's just like, over time, I don't eat pasta. And so I don't cook pasta the way I once did. And that was my given. That was a given. If I was coming to dinner or if I was invited to an outing, I was bringing baked ziti. Then, as time goes on, I've do eggplant parmesan, and I've tried to bariatrify it. But I like my eggplant parmesan, just eggplant parmesan. Um, but that was a given. I was bringing baked ziti, and I had to teach people, I'm not doing that anymore. I will bring, you know, um, zoodles, or I'll do something different. But again, just teaching people that I'm different. I'm changing, and change is good.
so there's
Change
quite
is
a few
good.
comments about I wonder what you would tell somebody who is
Mm,
afraid to journal for a few different reasons. Maybe it
yeah.
because someone will read it. I know
Yes.
that is,
Yes.
I mean,
Yes.
that's
That's
something,
real. That's real. Yes.
and or somebody might use it against you.
Yes.
So what would you say to somebody who says that?
There are a couple of things. One, I will say, when I had my brick and mortar, I would have patients and clients that would come by the office, and we had a group room where some people would come in and they would journal, and we'd lock it in our file cabinet. That was a safe place for them to be able to do things like that. There are times that I will tell people, sometimes if you want to write it, you can burn it. You you can burn it. It's okay. You don't have to keep it. Some people, again, using notes in our on our phones, or even just, just recording ourselves and having a scream session if we had to, or just getting it out and then listening to it and then deleting it. It's not something that we have to keep if there's a concern, or you can lock it in your glove compartment, or you can lock it at, in a file cabinet, or you can buy one of those lock boxes if you wanted to,
Anissa, what do you say about
Yeah.
talking? Like some people, a couple people are
Yeah.
mentioning to therapists,
Yes.
like talking to a therapist or talking to
Yes.
someone and
I definitely encourage, therapy. I think that for so many of us, this is new territory, and counseling is so very important. Therapy is so important in this process. I believe that there's a place for support groups, and then there's a place for therapy. And really focusing, it doesn't necessarily have to be someone who specializes in bariatrics. Um, yes, we're out there. Please, we are out there and you can find us. But learning, really figuring out what's going on with you, what are you struggling with, and being able to just sit down and talk with someone. Some people
I
use their clergy as well.
oh, good point. Like if you're not
Yeah.
real comfortable going to a
Yes.
therapist.
Yes.
The other so I have a couple people who've commented on this too, which is very much something I'd love your opinion on. Because I feel like so there's several people talking about like opinions.
Oh,
So
yes.
Sarah talks about somebody telling her that she was making a bad decision. Somebody else says um, just something about opinions. Basically, Mary says
Yes.
everyone
Yeah.
has their own opinions. So, what is it
Yeah.
like to be able to listen to other people's opinions and just be like, okay, it's
Thank you.
okay to have your own opinion.
Mhm. Yep.
They don't have to force it upon you. Like, how does
Right.
that work? How does that
Yeah,
work?
so I do have some examples here that I thought, okay, what are some things that people are dealing with? And again, either how I've dealt with it, or how I have said it out loud, or I've had clients and patients share with me. I think everyone is going to have their own opinion and their own perspective. And being able to say thank you, thank you for sharing your opinion at this moment. My perspective, or my opinion of me, is what I'm focusing on most importantly. Um, I have a couple here, I'm focusing on my health. I always like to bring it back to that. This is me focusing on my health. This isn't about weight loss. Yes, that's great, but I'm actually dealing with the disease of obesity. So I am focusing on my health differently. So I will bring my own food or snacks. When I think of being invited to parties or being invited to social gatherings where we're having food, I'm focusing on my health. So I'm going to bring what's best for me. Um, the other is learning how to, please don't comment on my plate or how much I'm eating. I appreciate you not commenting. This is my food. This is my nourishment. I mean, would they, it's this idea of, oh, you use super plus gasoline in your car? Oh, nobody talks, they share their opinion about silly things. This is what nourishes my body. This is what's on my plate. I'm learning to listen to my body. I would like your support. Not focusing on my meals would mean a lot to me. And again, it's learning how to speak differently to the people in our lives. I'm also going to, so this is a couple of others. I prefer not to discuss my weight or my appearance. Yes, I'm actively making changes to my lifestyle and just kind of redirecting people. My journey is about health, not just about numbers or my appearance. It's not about the numbers on the scale. This is really about my health. You want to talk to me about my health? Do you want to talk to me about my blood pressure? I'm sorry, do you want to start paying my medical bills and taking care of my prescriptions, because that's really what this is about. You want to talk about that? Again, I know I had a little bit of a tone to that comment right then, but it is knowing, like, hey guys, let's take this down a notch or two. Shifting the focus to non-weight related accomplishments. Like, let's talk about how much energy I have or how active I've been. You know, um, again, it's this idea of, let me tell you that my blood pressure is normal, or my A1C is normal, or that I'm no longer taking, 5 insulin shots a day. You want to talk to me about that? I know that you're just focused on what's on my plate. Why don't we talk about what it's really about? And again, I always come back to, thank you for sharing. Thank you for your perspective. Thank you for sharing that. And I have one of them on here. I'm learning to take care of myself. I'm taking time for myself to plan meals, to exercise, and for rest. I'm learning to take care of myself. That taking care of myself is long term, is key for my long term success. Just again, thank you. I hear your concern. Or is there concern for my health? Because when I weighed 320 pounds, not many people were concerned about what I was eating, or they weren't sharing their opinion about what I was eating, and now all of a sudden my appearance is a concern or a priority. How about I just make sure that my health is my priority? That's what I'm taking care of differently. Does that help? Here's one. I appreciate the gesture. This is my dietary needs are different today. My priority is my health. My favorite one-liner is that I'm allergic. I'm allergic to that. You're allergic to cookies? Oh my God. I know, right? Could you believe that? I am allergic to those chocolate chip cookies. I break out in some really bad behavior. I might want more than 1 or 5. And I just choose not to do that today. So again, it's just learning how to say our needs differently. Here's the other piece of that is, I might not want their opinion. I might not care about their opinion. And for me to say, thank you for sharing your opinion, I'll take that into consideration.
Mm-hmm.
It's and again, for some of us, we're getting some of these comments from people that really have no value in our lives. They're just they're just blowing smoke, and they're just, a lot of hot air. But there are people in our lives who are saying comments, who are making comments. And sometimes having those hard conversations, oh, we don't want to. When I was getting smaller than friends, or when I was getting smaller than some of the people that I, had been hanging out with, friends, dear friends, good friends, people that shared secrets with me. And they were saying, are you done losing weight now? Don't you think you're a bit too small? Okay. Where is that coming from? Can we have a real conversation? Like, hey, Brenda, you and I have known each other for years. Can we have a real conversation? Because I'm going to be vulnerable with you. You're being vulnerable with me, that my size is a concern for you, or it is, it's creating some insecurity. And I care about you and our friendship, and I want to know what's going on. What about my size is a concern for you? Like, again, these are really having this really deep, hard, difficult conversations. There are friends in our lives, guys, that may not be there in 3 years or 5 years. They won't make it through this process with us. There are family members that might not make it through this process with us, because our weight, or all of a sudden our role in our relationship is changing, and they might not know how to navigate that.
You
Okay.
know, Anissa, too, I think we have to remember, at least the compassion part of me, whenever have
Yes.
people say these things to me, the compassion part
Yeah,
of me is remembering that it really is never about you, the things
I
that's
know
coming out
it.
of their mouth.
Yep.
It's about their previous experiences, their own fears,
Yes.
their own beliefs, their own
Yes.
whatever. So,
Yes.
like somebody saying something about you not, you maybe you losing too much weight or whatever
Right.
is about them having an insecurity about their
About their own stuff. Hmm.
own weight,
Right.
or maybe
Right.
they've had some kind of fear that they're losing some part of you like it was
Yes.
before.
Yes.
It's a
Yep.
fear within them, and it's
Yes.
something that they're dealing with. And so
Yes.
that little bit of compassion sometimes makes it
Yeah.
easier to understand and to
Yeah. And to be able to have, to be vulnerable and be present in those conversations. There are some people that I have had to have, that I've been willing to do that with, because they are valuable in my world. And I couldn't imagine my life without them. So, yes, what is it? What's going on? There are things that are at times going to be about us and how we're reacting to them. And then again, as you say, what is it about my weight loss that concerns you? Do you really think I'm going to go somewhere? Do you think I'm going to leave you? When we start thinking about relationships and marriages, and again, the fear that some partners have, if you lose weight, you'll leave me. Do you think I'm only with you because I was obese? Wait a minute, time out. Like, wait a minute, what are you saying? What is our relationship based on? And again, being able to really have these hard conversations. It is not easy. It is not easy. Learning, again, I always come back to boundaries are about protection and taking care of ourselves differently, and taking care of our health and what is a priority for us emotionally, mentally, physically, spiritually, you know?
and
Yeah.
this is it okay if we
Yeah.
circle in to a couple questions that kind of
Please.
were towards the beginning?
Hmm.
How does this fit in? How do boundaries and setting limitations and all of that addiction, because I know you mentioned issues with addiction. How does that
Hmm.
all there's one in our Q&A, and then also there was one at the very beginning about addictions related to sweets and carbs and things like that. And how does setting boundaries about that piece, how does that work? What would you recommend to somebody who is having an issue with those issues?
It's really asking, what's going on? So, are you questioning your relationship with sugar? Are you questioning your relationship with refined carbohydrates? Are you questioning your relationship with, is that what's being asked? I want to make sure I understood.
The question in Q&A is very similar to the question asked before. One person had said sweets, they're a sweets addict and suggestions on fighting cravings. The other person says sugar and carbs are my number one enemy, but setting boundaries and realizing how to overcome them. Would like
Yeah,
suggestions on this
yeah.
process.
And again, I'll be honest, I have I do a whole presentation on the relationship with food, and I refer to it as an affair with sugar. So it's looking at how did that relationship begin? What are those trigger foods for us? But understanding, here are some, again, learning that we are in this process, and being able to share that with other people. I'm learning more about me as I go through this journey. Again, I'm referring this is a deeply personal journey for me, and I need positivity around it. I'd prefer if you didn't share opinions about my surgery or my weight loss unless I ask. I want to invite people into my world. Again, just understanding, um, for me, as you are moving forward in your process, learning learning what your relationship with these foods are, and what have you used them? How have you used them in your life? If you have, if there are certain trigger foods for you and you know what they are, I think we owe it to ourselves to explore that relationship, but to also then abstain if we use that food in a harmful way for us. It always comes back to what is the intention with that food. Um, a- Again, I just think that those are the specific questions that they're having are really about what is their relationship with those foods? Who does it remind them of? What time in their life does it remind them of? How have they used those foods to cope? And are they willing to change that relationship? And what are they willing to change? I don't know if I'm answering the question. I
Think it's a deep dive. There's not
it really,
there's
it
not really a
really
one
is.
size fits
No,
all.
no.
It's about really going within and asking
Yeah,
yourselves those really hard questions. And I would just suggest
I,
if you do have problems with answering those questions and being honest
yeah,
with yourself, because sometimes if it's been a lifelong struggle and you are having
yes.
a deep issue, find somebody
Please
like
seek help.
Anisa.
Seek help,
Yeah,
please.
find
And
somebody who can help you dive into it.
and honestly, there it's so often that I do a workshop for pre-op, and it's setting the stage, it's creating that foundation. I encourage people to attend support group pre-op. Don't wait until you have surgery. Surgery does not change us. We change us, and understanding that for so many of us, I mean, I've suffered with obesity since I was a child. This is new territory for me. I'm continuing to learn. I'm 22 years post-op and I'm still learning. People I meet today don't know my history. They know me walking in the door, and this is who I am. They don't know the struggle. So when I say I'm allergic to sugar, oh, you're not going to have any Christmas cookies? We're down at the, at the uh volunteer office, and oh, you're not having, no, I'm allergic to sugar. Oh my God, how could you make it in your life being allergic to sugar? Well, one day at a time, it's really okay. Like it's not that big of a deal. But but I flippantly sometimes say those kinds of things because this is just who I am. This is what I do. This is my lifestyle. So no, it's easier for me to tell you I'm allergic, then you won't be shoving it down my throat, while I'm here. Set the stage now. Again, it's just I have to do what's best for me overall. This was a decision that I made to save my life. Other patients, when I have said, people will ask, well, what kind of counselor are you? And I say, well, I specialize in bariatrics. Oh, I knew somebody who died from bariatric surgery. Or, oh, I know somebody who had weight loss surgery and they've regained all their weight. Well, here's my card. Please make sure that you let them know that there's a way out, that it's not uncommon, and but there are people who don't understand bariatric surgery, and we are the voice. We are, some people may never know another bariatric patient. I'm it. This is what they see, what they get. I want to be able to say that, we do recover from obesity and that there is a way out. And the nice thing, honestly, is that we don't have to do this perfectly. I just do it consistently. And I've been doing consistently one day at a time. That's again because I don't do this perfectly. None of us do. And we find our way, and again, we navigate our way through this. And if they struggle, it's okay. It's okay. And you might have to tell people again, learning for my people pleasers, right? So learning more about what pleases you. Again, finding your way, setting boundaries with friends and family can definitely be difficult, but it's crucial. Instead of saying yes immediately, give yourself time, pause before responding. My favorite, let me check my schedule and I'll get back with you. This gives you space to assess whether the request fits my energy. Is this something that's going to pull my energy, or is this someone that's going to feed my energy? And most importantly, my priorities, you know, finding out what's best for us. And if you're a people pleaser, again, what does that say about you? We can be polite, yet use firm I statements. I'd love to help. Unfortunately, I'm unable to take on any more right now. So that lets people know that I'm in it with you. I'd love to help. I'm here for you. I'm just not able to take on any more right now. My schedule doesn't allow it. And tie it back to our goals. I'm working on managing my time better for my health. So at this time, I need to say no. And I have practiced, guys, I have actually written these down on sticky notes. This is no lie. I had a hard time saying no in the beginning. I had to learn that no is a complete statement. I had to learn, I actually wrote it down on sticky notes. You know, back in the day when I first got sober, I worked for a hospital. They would call me all the time because I was the new kid on the block, so I never said no. So they would call me when people called in sick. Call Nissa. She'll say yes. She'll say yes. And I worked with somebody who said, no is a complete sentence. Write down no, have that next to your phone. When they call, you read directly from that, from your pad. And that's what I did for the longest time. No, I'm not able to do that. No, I'm not able to do that right now. So again,
And
now
it
it's
doesn't
just,
have to come with a long description. It doesn't
no,
have to come with this is why or
no,
whatever. It can be as simple as
no,
no.
no, I'm not able to do that. No, 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 thank you. Check me out next week, next month. Sometimes, again, tying it back to our health reinforces things for us. Linking it back to your well-being helps them understand your limits are non-negotiable while letting them know that they are important to you. Some of the resources, again, boundaries, Dr. Henry Cloud and John Townsend, Healthy Boundaries by Chase Hill, Say No and Set Boundaries by Maria Reed. Again, I'm always available. AnisaGrantham.com is my yep, is my website. Yes, I haven't had a brain blurb yet. And then you can always find me at anisa.grantham@gmail.com. My phone number is here as well. I'm on Instagram and Facebook, my Facebook professional page. I, give away coaching sessions. I'm doing an on-demand workshop beginning in January, a workshop that I have done in person for many years, 15 years now. Will actually go on demand come January. See if I know how to stop this now. So,
I was taking a screenshot so I can make sure and put that
oh,
in
yes. Okay.
description later.
Previous.
So,
Okay. Yeah.
Anissa,
Yeah.
uh,
I don't know how to stop sharing. Wait a minute. I do know
oh,
how to stop sharing. I just stopped. I lost my, oh Lord, what did I do? In slideshow. Okay. Oh, yep. There we go. Okay.
oh, there you go.
Thank you. Huh? Oh, I've been doing this for a few years. You would think I would just boom, boom.
Every platform is so
Yes,
different too.
yes, I know it.
Exactly.
I know we have run over. Thank you. Thank you
Yes, I
all
know
for
we're kind of like
having
close
me.
on time, but
Yeah,
I do have one
yes,
more person that
yes,
has a question. And then
yes,
after that question, I want you to just kind of quickly just summarize something for them to
yes.
take away. Um, so Mary says, Anissa, when you started till now, how much weight have you lost and how long have you kept it off?
Okay, so thank you. So my pre-op weight, this was the night before surgery, 318 pounds. I hang at about 160, 65 pounds. I have maintained over the years. Usually if I've regained up to, 30 pounds or more. Menopause has been hellacious on me the last couple of years. So I did get with a functional medicine doctor and I've worked with GLP medications as well. Um, but generally I've been able to maintain 150-pound weight loss. Again, it's been 22 years and not doing it consistently or perfectly helps. Being consistent with it is really what I, subscribe to. I meal prep, I move my body, I do what I can each day. Most importantly, I remind myself that I'm dealing with with a medical condition. And I get help from a lot of different specialists. It's not just one. I have to remember that I take care of me emotionally, mentally, and physically. So yeah. Okay. Somebody that needs to show that they were here.
Yes, so
Yeah.
I can answer that
Yeah.
too.
Yeah. Yeah.
I can answer that, but any closing thought?
Yeah, again, just remembering that boundaries, it's not about aggression here. It's just learning how to be assertive and paying attention to what our needs are. Boundaries are about protection and navigation and direction. Boundaries are about learning how to take care of ourselves differently and not yeah, that there's a flow to it, that it's not set in stone, that we can have a little ebb and flow with the way that we go. We're learning as we go. Um, and that boundaries are not punishment. I think that's really important too, that we're not punishing the people that we love, that we're learning how to protect ourselves differently in this new process, that in our new lifestyle. And that we're allowed to make mistakes with it. We don't know all the time what this is going to look like, and being able to have some compassion with ourselves and go easy on ourselves, that we're not going to get this 100%, and it's okay. It's okay. Again, just really taking care of ourselves, hugging ourselves, being present with ourselves, and being able to take care of ourselves. That's what boundaries are all about. And they're going to change as life goes on, as time goes on, our boundaries will change. As we get more, I think too, as we learn and we get more comfortable with our process and with the process, that our boundaries will change with time.
And it's about remembering what's best for us is actually best for the other person. We forget
Definitely.
sometimes in
Yeah.
the whole people pleasing and trying to
Yes.
make them happy
Yes.
is really an illusion.
Yeah. Yes.
It is, guys, like what makes you
Yes.
happy really is the best thing for them. And I had heard
Love
something,
that.
someone had said at one time to me, or I heard it, I don't know, but it just really stuck with me. And that is, um, why would you try to make somebody else happy? You're taking away their power. It's their own journey. Like,
Yes.
let them live and be who they are. You don't want anybody else
Yes.
doing that for you. So
Right.
let them live, let them have their own opinions, let them do whatever they decide is
Yeah.
okay for them.
Yes.
How you
Yes.
react to it and what you
That's
do
it.
is your
That's what we
journey.
have. That's right. And that's what we have control over, is how we react and respond to other people, for sure. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
So thank you. And
Thank
I'm gonna
you
give a
all.
shout
Thank
out.
you all.
Thank you. And I want to say too, just some other closing things here too. I want to give a shout out to our sponsor, which is ProCare Health. They're a
Yes.
bariatric vitamin and supplement company. And I will show you how to learn more about ProCare here in just a second. I also want to say Melanie is asking if you are attending this as part of attendance, we have think almost 75 facilities that we send attendants to for these events. So just remember, I usually send the attendants to facilities approximately a week post the event. And the simple reason is that sometimes facilities are sometimes patients will watch this as a replay. And so I want that to be counted. If you know that your program is enrolled and getting our attendance, that's great. If you're not sure, you can always email me. It's my last name, which is HOEHN, my first initial B at procarenow.com. HOEHN, my first initial B at procarenow.com. And I'm going to real quickly just switch on to our website and give you guys some fun little resources. That is another screen. So here we go, procarenow.com. And when you go to the procarenow.com site, if you're wanting to check out ProCare and you've not checked them out before, and you want to get a free sample, we have a little button here at the very bottom, a blue button that says interested in a free sample. Click here. What ProCare is known for is being one of the lowest priced vitamins out there on the market. They were the first company to create a one a day. So very easy to stick to a routine and be consistent. If you're someone like me who hates taking any kind of tablet, it's kind of funny that I'm in the vitamin industry and now actually taking some of these supplements, trying to be consistent with them. But it's easy, it's affordable, it's easy, it's one of those things just to kind of keep up your health and set a boundary for yourself to be consistent. So there's a list here under shop. I also want to kind of go over to this. There's a tab that says, um, I'm moving some of my bars around. Body and Soul Resources, another tab. And that's where we have our tab under BariConnected. So when you click on that tab, it's going to bring you to the events for the month. And this is event will be on demand, meaning it'll be on replay. So go back, listen. Sometimes listening to these things a second time or third time, I do that with my podcast all the time. Go back and listen because there's little tidbits that I can pull from and learn from that I didn't hear the first time because you only can absorb so much information. Go back, listen to it. That'll be on replay for about a month. All of our events are also added when you go to this the BariConnected page. You will actually have some links on that page. So here's the events. You can click onto any of them. This is Anissa's. We've actually got a new format. It looks a little wonky now. We're fixing that, but there is hers. You just click on that. You can get the on-demand replay. If you miss an event, we have all of our events on our YouTube channel. So you can go down here. It says miss event, visit the YouTube channel, click on that. We also have a BariConnected Facebook page. You can click on our link here or Facebook group, join our groups. And Anissa's in that group now. And Anissa, I just want to give you a shout out too, because she leads other support groups. I'm going to show you guys how to connect with her and listen to more of her support groups as well. So we have that on our ProCare YouTube channel. When you click there, you guys, we have over 446 video. We have 446 videos right now to date on there. So if you're looking for a topic, press the subscribe button. There should be one here. There's a little search button. You can type in skin and hair. You can type in therapy. You can type in whatever, emotions. You can type in boundaries because we've done some different ones on boundaries. And will be posted here on Tuesday. We always post the Tuesday after. So check out that. Also, I want to kind of jump on and say Anissa's website that she mentioned before is just basically her name, anisagrantham.com. And when you get there, there's a tab that says support group or about, and you go under support groups, and she has all of her support groups listed for this month or for this year, next year, actually, 2025.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, so all they do is just submit their name and email on there, and they can submit to get more details, correct?
Yes. And that's mainly just to make sure that we don't keep their email address. That's just to make sure that it's, they're not a robot. We do have my final one for this year is tomorrow night. My yeah, my IT person has 2025 listed, but yeah, my final one for tomorrow night. You can go online and join us. It's on also my Facebook page. I also have that link. So thank you for that. We
Yeah.
have people from all over the country. Again, I'm from Savannah, so a lot of my people are from Savannah, but have had so many from across the country with the different conferences and support groups I've done in attendance. And I love it. I love connection is everything. And again, just being able to connect with like-minded people is so, so important. So I celebrate you and all that you guys are doing for our community. Really, just so much out there. Thank you.
So,
Yeah.
yes, no, thank you. And somebody's commenting on our free samples. If
Yes.
you're
Oh.
having problems with, it should be that we should have free samples, but if you're having problems, we actually have on the top of the ProCare Health page is a call us number, and it's easy. It's 1-877-822-5808. And just talk to them and see if they can help you with that or get you on a list. I think that we have samples as far as I know right now. So maybe that was a glitch. I know last year we had a couple periods of time where we were short on those, but should be back up to know when we are. So I just want to again thank you all.
Thank you.
We
Thank
love
you.
you. Thank you for
Thank
spending
you.
time for yourself, right?
Yes, definitely.